Hello everyone. This is Merla Agnes Mary, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science in Joseph College, Tiruchirappalli. So in this lecture video, we're going to see what is decision-making statements and the types of decision-making statements. So we have the 4 different types. We can see with an example. So what is decision-making statements? So decision-making statements are based on the condition we given, this set of blocks or the set of statements will be work. So if the condition we given is true, the given condition and the statement inside that condition will be work. So this is what we call it as a decision-making statement. Let's we see the overview. So the overview going to see are if statement, if else statement, nested if else statement, and if else later. Let's see what is decision making statement. So decision making statement is also known as a conditional statement. It allows the program to execute different block of code. So based on the given condition. So based on the decisions, it adapt to the different scenarios and make your code dynamic and responsive. So in Python, the decision making allow to for test the multiple conditions. We can give more than one condition based on that condition. With the condition is will set, so the given statement will be work. So first we see the if statement. So if statement evaluates the condition and executes a block of code only the if condition is true. That is, if the condition we given is true, the set of code or the block of code will be work. So inside the if condition, we give some of the statements or the block of code. If the given condition is true, the statement will be print and it will be executed. Let's see the flow diagram. So first it moves into the given expression, that is the if condition. If the condition is true, it prints the statement. Otherwise, if the condition is false, it exited. So first it checks the condition evaluation and we need to give the condition inside the if condition. Then the code will be executed inside the if statement. Then the code will be skipped. If the condition is false, the code will be skipped. Let's see syntax, example, and output. So first we see the syntax. So syntax of the if condition is, so first we need to give the if given condition, then the statement. Let's see an example. First, we need to initialize the number is equal to 8. If the number is greater than 0, is the condition. So if the condition is true, the statement, the number is positive will be printed. So here we initialize the number is equal to 8. So the condition is true, then it will be printed, the number is positive. So the output we got is the number is positive. Let's see the if else statement. So in the if statement, we give one single condition. If the condition is true, the state of block will be printed, otherwise it will be exited. So in the if else statement, we can give a single condition. If the condition is false, it move on to the else part. So that is what the if else statement. So the if statement is followed by an other statement. That is, if the given expression is false, it move on to the else part. Let's see in flow diagram. So first it move on to the else expression, that is the given condition. So if the condition is true, it move on to the if branch of the statement. If the condition is false, it move on to the else part and the statement in the else part will be printed. So first the if condition will be evaluated, and if the condition is true, it prints the code inside the if condition. Otherwise, it move into the else condition. So if it print the else condition, and the statement inside the else condition will be printed. And the third, so the alternative execution, that is the else statement will be ensures, and some of the code is printed and it will be executed and the program will be exited. Let's see syntax, example, and output. So first the syntax is, so first we need to give the condition inside the if. So if the condition is true, a statement inside the if condition will be printed. If the condition is false, it move on to the else part. As we see an example. So here the 11 will be initialized to the number. So if the number, the condition we given is if the number modulo 2 is equal to 0, the statement number is even will be printed. Otherwise, the number is odd will be printed. So here we initialize the 11. So it is not modulo 2 is equal to 0. The condition is false. So the number is even is not printed. It move into the else part, and the number is odd will be printed. So the output we got is the number is odd. So the next is nested if else statement. So you see the nested if else statement. So till now we see the if and if else statement. So in the if condition we give a single condition, and the if else we give a single condition. If the condition is false, it move on to the else part. The same the nested if also we have given the more if else. So that is nested inside the another if else, that is outer part is nested inside the inner part. Let's see what is nested if are. So the nested if the statement is allowed to create the multiple of the conditional logic with a single statement. So let's see in flow diagram. So first it moved into the first given expression, that is if expression. If the expression is true, it move on to the nested expression. If the nested expression is also true, it move on to the body of the nested if. If the nested expression is false, it move on to the body of the nested else part, and the it move on to it come into the statement in the if branch, and it printed and exited. So if the first if condition itself false, it directly move on to the false, and the statement at the last will be printed and it will be exited. So first the outer condition will be evaluated. So then the inner condition will be evaluated, and if the inner condition is true, it prints the if statement. Otherwise, it move into the else part, and then the nested loop will be executed, and then the program will be exited. Let's see a syntax. So first we need to initialize the condition for the if. So that is the condition 1. If the condition 1 is true, it move into the condition 2. If the condition 2 is also true, if the both conditions are true, it print inside the if condition 2. It otherwise it move into the part of the else. So the statement inside the else part will be printed, and it move into the end of the statement, and it exited. So if the condition 1 itself falls, it directly move into the else part of the condition 1, and the code given inside the else part will be printed and then exited. Let's see an example. So first here we initialize the 3, that is number is equal to 3. So if the number is greater than 0, so if the number is greater than 0, this is what the first condition is. If this condition true, it moves to the next condition, that is number modulo 2 is equal to 0. So if both the conditions are true, the statement number is positive and even will be printed. If the second condition is false, it move into the else part, and the number is positive but odd will be printed. If the first condition itself false, it move into the else part of the first condition, and it prints the statement the number is not positive. So let's see the output. So here we initialize the number is equal to 3. So we got the output as a number is positive but odd, because the second condition is false, because 3 is not divided by the 2, and it is the remainder we got is the 1, so it is not equal to 0. So the output we got is the number is positive but odd. The last we going to see are if later. So till now we give a single condition, and if the condition is true, it move on. If the condition is true, the statement inside the if condition will be printed. Otherwise, it move into the else part. So in the if later, we have given the many conditions. We first initialize a single condition. Based on that condition, it checks whether the condition is which condition is true, and the statement block will be printed. So let's see what is if later. So if else statements used to evaluate the conditions. So it checks each condition in order and executes the code. So it need to corresponding the first true condition. So based on the first true condition, it will be printed. Let's see the flow diagram. So it come into the condition 1. If the condition 1 is true, it print the block of the code inside the condition 1 and it exited. So if the condition 1 is false, it move on to the second condition. If the second condition is true, the block of the code will be printed. Otherwise, it move on to the third condition. If the third condition is true, it will be print the block of the code. Otherwise, it will be exited. So first, the if condition will be evaluated, and second, the elif will be evaluated. So that is the subsequent conditions. That is only if the previous if or elif conditions are false. So then the third is else part. So it executes none of the previous's. So it doesn't see what the if elif statements are. So it directly print the else part if the condition is true in the else part. So let's see the syntax. So here first we need to give the expression in the if. So if the expression is true, it will execute the block of the code inside the if. So otherwise, if the condition is false, it move into the elif. If the condition inside the elif is true, it execute the code. If the elif also false, it move on to the else part, and the block of the code inside the else part will be printed. Let's see an example. So here first we initialize x is equal to 2, and here we give the three conditions. That is, the first condition is x equal to 2, and the second condition inside the elif we given are x is equal to 3, and then the elif x is equal to 4. So if these three conditions are false, it moves on to the else part, and the statement inside the else part will be printed. So based on the example, first here we initialize x is equal to 11. So first it comes into the if condition. So if condition x is equal to 2, it is false. So it doesn't work. Then it moves to the else, elif. So first condition of elif, that is x is equal to 3. So it is also false. So it move on to the second elif, that is elif x is equal to 4. So this is also false. So it directly move on to the else part, and the output we got is x is not equal to 2, 3 or 4. So this is how the elif ladder will be work. Let's see some of the example of if else. So here first we get the input from the user. So that is a score. We initialize the variable as a score, and we got an input in the form of a float value. So then we give the condition, that is if this given score is greater than 90, we can print that is this is an A grade. So then we give the second condition, if 80 is less than the score and it is above the 80 and below the 90, this is the B grade. And the third condition we given is it is above the 70 and below the 80, the statement it be printed as a this is C grade. So then if the fourth condition is if the given score is above 60 and below 70, the statement will be printed as this is the D grade. So if the given score is below 60, the statement, unfortunately, this is an F grade will be printed. So the based on given condition, the four conditions false, it moves on to the else part. Let's see an output. So here the score enter is the score we got from the user is 78. So 78 is based on the third condition. Based on the third condition, so it will be printed as this is a D grade. We see then example of the nested if else. So the nested if else. So first the same the before. We get the input in the form of float and given into the grade. So for the first condition we given is if the grade is greater than 90, and it is the first condition, and if the condition is true, it move into the second condition, that is if the grade is less than 93, so it will be printed as A minus. So then it moves to the elif grade, that is if the grade is greater than or equal to 97, so that's then A plus will be printed. So if both the conditions are false, that is less than 93 or the greater than or equal to 97 is false, it move into the else part and print that's an A. So if the first condition greater than 90 itself falls, it move into the else part and it printed not an A grade. So let's see in output. So the output, the score we get it from the user is 92. So the first condition itself falls. First condition is true, that is it is greater than 90. So then it move into the first condition. So it is less than 93. So it doesn't move into the elif or else part. So the first statement will be printed. That's an A minus. So this is what the nested if else statement is. So thank you. So I hope you all learned, you get an idea about the decision making statement, that the different 4 types, that is if statement, if else statement, nested if, and the elif later. So thank you everyone. So thank you for learning.